I mean, we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen.
What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Strookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
Through the roof.
So there you go.
The dynamic duo is back.
We need a cape.
The Batman of podcasting is with Robin. Did you see how I
By
took
default,
that? See how I took that?
you took it. You took ownership of Batman, and hey, look,
Didn't even discuss
I'm
it. Just took it.
okay with that.
Just took it.
Robin still fights the villains as well, right?
Sure. Well, welcome back. We're
Thank you, Chris.
there's always fun and hilarity here on our show. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but hopefully we make you laugh.
That joke in particular goes back like 2 years.
It's an old one.
It's an oldie.
It's an oldie, but a goodie, maybe. Maybe just for us.
Pretty much.
But yeah, Lancaster Connects. We're back, Ben and Jeff together. We've had some solo episodes here over the last handful of weeks, summer vacations, business travel. So yeah, we're here introducing great people, doing great things to you here in Lancaster County. You know, a lot of my peers in the industry ask me why I do this show, so I shared this a number of times over the last week. It's because we want to highlight people doing good in our community. We want to highlight what's great in our community. And we don't want to be the type of business that just takes from our community. So Lancaster Connects is a way for us to give back, highlight people and great organizations helping out others in and around the area. And we want to be a part of that. And so our platform here at the store has become Lancaster Connects, and we're 2+ years into it now.
Oh, man.
I guess maybe 3 coming up in January, right?
Yeah.
2.5.
You say highlighting great people and organizations giving back. I think none more so maybe than today's guest.
Yeah.
We'll get to in just a few minutes here, but man, do they give back.
Major Lancaster County success. So
unbelievable.
You can catch this show. You're going to be, there'll be no reason to not catch this show. There'll be no reason to not be inspired if you're somebody that has a message to get out on social media, because our guest today has a powerhouse social media channel presence. And you might think, given his background and upbringing, that he might not be as active, but maybe we'll talk about that, about how David gets on social media. But you can watch our show pretty much anywhere an internet connected device can exist, and you can connect to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can pick up the show on all the different audio podcast platforms. We love when you comment. We love when you check in. Typically commenting gets you in on the prizes we give away, but we're still in this summer contest mode for Party Gras. How's it been going, man? We've been making some people happy, right?
We've given away, how many tickets have we given away? We had 20 sets of tickets to give away, and we have 4 to give away today. So that means we've given away 16 sets of tickets.
The last ticket drawing is today.
Yep. We've got a lot of people on the line or watching live to find out if they are going to win the wheel spin. It's been a great contest. If you don't know or been living under a rock for the last month and a half, we had Bret Michaels, rock star from the band Poison and many other Bret Michaels ventures over the years. We had him as our 100th Lancaster Connects episode guest, and it was a great interview. If you haven't caught it, go back and watch it. It's on our website, lancasterconnects.com/contest is where we're running this contest. Bret was a great interview. You can watch it on there. But he and his team were gracious enough to give us 20 sets of tickets to his upcoming concert on August 26th. That's like 3 weeks from now. It's coming
around the corner.
And the stipulation was we had to give it to hometown heroes. We give these tickets to hometown heroes or veterans. So those who actively and selflessly give back to their community, right? So Bret likes to highlight or feature hometown heroes and veterans during his concert, and we are giving away those tickets. So all you have to do is go to lancasterconnects.com/contest. It's a photo nomination contest, so you just go there, give us a little bit of information, name and email, and you're nominating somebody. It could be yourself, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, anyone who's a hero in the community. That could be police, fire, EMS, nurses, et cetera, or a veteran. There's 2 different pages. You'll see the buttons on that website to do that. But yeah, today's the last giveaway
day for the regular tickets.
So we're giving away 2 tickets to heroes and 2 tickets to veterans today. And then there's the VIP giveaway that's going to run through next week's, or it'll end right before next week's episode. We'll have to cut that off probably by around noon or so.
Well, I think we'll Sunday at midnight.
This way
it's dialed in Sunday at midnight.
That's a good point. Yep.
And that's that. So if you're in the running, and you're in the running for that VIP experience, which basically the person right there on the screen, the person with the most likes, shares, interactions as calculated by that measurement that Chris is highlighting on the screen, that'll be the winner. We'll have 1 VIP experience winner for veterans tickets and 1 for hometown hero tickets. So this is the week to share. This is the week to start putting it out on your social channels. Some of you are way out front. Some of you are bringing up the rear, so to say, to put it nicely. So there's still a whole week left to maybe get that VIP experience. So good luck to everybody.
I know there's one photo with over 1,000.
Yeah, that one's way out front.
Now, that might sound like a big number, but if you share it daily, I mean, you can share it as often as you want. And if you have, let's say you have 100 people, there it is. Their Facebook friends or fans, they can vote daily. So you can get up to 1,000 pretty quickly. You just have to ask for it. You have to actively do it. So
That's right. And so, we're excited. I'm excited to see how this all wraps up.
Yep.
It's been a fun 6 weeks or so promoting this, and a lot of people get to go and enjoy that concert August 26th at Hollywood Casino Penn National Race Track. August 26th in Granville.
Yep.
So before we get on to David from Blessings of Hope, we have one little piece of news. Again, creating this platform, we have a lot of people that reach out to the show. Some people are a natural fit like David is, and others, just don't exactly fit the mission of what we're doing. But we created this thing on our site, Share Your News. So you go to lancasterconnects.com, there's a tab, Be a Guest, or be on the show, and you can either be a guest or share your news. So if you're a business that has an event coming up, if you're a charity that was just on recently, or you're somebody giving back that's doing something fun and fundraising for the community in a positive way, use that tab on our site, get us your news, and we'll get it on. We do ask for a couple weeks notice just so we can prepare accordingly. But Betsy from Acorn Acres reached out. So Betsy was a fantastic guest, had Poppy, the Emmy award-winning groundhog who was in the Jeep Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray. Betsy was on the show as a past guest and wanted to bring to our attention, we got some severe weather coming through later today, I guess, wind, rain, storms. Typically these events lead to problems for squirrels and for bunnies. Yeah, I knew there was another little critter. And so she had sent along some information. What I'll do is I'll post this to our page after the show. But basically she shared, there's a couple infographics. I'm not going to read it to you here. It would be a disservice to it all. I'll put it out on our pages and make a note of that right now. We'll get that out. But if you see an injured squirrel or a rabbit, we'll share some information on how to handle those. But just understand, like, her rescue is full. Her capacity is maxed out. And so she's sharing this information to just help you. Maybe if you see one in your yard, one in the neighborhood, you could follow these steps, helpful steps, and help that little animal out.
Yeah,
right?
I think the thing with the storms is that, maybe there's a nest with babies in it. The storms blow the babies out of the nest, and now where's mom? So there's some kind of how to or what to do information there that we'll share out. But
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Betsy.
Yeah. And so, please use that share your news tab. We'll get it on for you. Get us all the information you can, and then we'll also post it on our page as well, when and where it makes sense. All right. So without too much further ado.
Yeah, let's bring on our guest, David Lapp from Blessings of Hope. David, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for for inviting me to the show.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Like Jeff said in the intro, we highlight we like to highlight organizations that give back to the community, and I don't think we've had a guest with more impact. Not that others don't have impact, but like the size of the operation, the amount of volunteers, and the amount of food you provide to our community and beyond. It's just staggering, and we'll get into some of that with you. So again, welcome to the show. We're excited to talk to you about Blessings of Hope.
Thank you.
So where did you grow up, David? And when did you make Lancaster your home?
Oh, I actually grew up in New Holland, north of New Holland, Shark Road, Linden Grove, for those of you that know the area. I went to a one-room schoolhouse on Linden Grove Road. And when I was 13, our family moved to Indiana to farm. And so we were in Indiana for about 10 years. This was East Central Indiana, just north of Interstate 70. And at one point, we were farming 400 acres with horses. And we were milking about 100 cows. There was 5 of us that were full-time in the farming. My dad was always more into greenhouses, raising flowers and vegetable plants, that kind of thing. So everywhere we went, he would build a new greenhouse, and that was his thing. But grew up on a farm. In 2005, we were excommunicated from the Amish church. Grew up horse and buggy. We didn't have any tractors in the fields, no cars, anything like that. 8th grade education, like I shared earlier. We were excommunicated from the Amish church in 2005, and then moved back to Pennsylvania right after that.
Okay.
And now you're in the New Holland area or similar?
We live in Ephrata. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
We live about 3 miles from where I grew up initially, or where I was born.
Okay.
All right.
So horse and buggy, even in Indiana, you were horse and buggy as well. And what'd you say, 400 acres with horses?
Yeah, we would do rotational grazing. We had dairy farms, so a lot of that was grass, but it was still, overall everything was, we would do all our farming with horses. So.
Wow, that's truly impressive. Truly impressive. So, where did Blessings of Hope come from?
Well, after we moved back to Pennsylvania, we started a nonprofit called Light of Hope Ministries, which was more of a counseling ministry or a speaking ministry. It's 2 of my brothers, one of my sisters and her husband, and a brother-in-law to one of my brothers. Aaron Fisher was a brother-in-law to my brother Jake. There was 5 couples that started out in ministry, and we had a need amongst our own families for food. And Aaron would help at an outreach to distribute food in Harrisburg. And he started hearing about the crazy volumes of food that are being wasted because food pantries can't take the semi-load volumes. So what we started seeing is these large warehouses, they don't want to deal with 50 organizations every day. And on the other hand, find a food bank that wants a semi-load of fresh produce every day. So we started talking about, what could this look like to have warehouse capacity, to have the trucks that we need to bridge the gap between the available product and the need, and bring those 2 together. And out of that is what Blessings of Hope, as you know it today, that's how that started. In 2010, Aaron committed to packing 7 boxes a week for a local pastor. And, when you're operating out of a 3-car garage and you're getting food, a couple times a week, and you're not sure what you're getting in, 7 boxes of food is a lot of food. Mm-hmm. And it would take, most of the day to pack those 7 boxes because, we had food, but it was usually 1 or 2 items, that we would get in every, once a week. And then finding that variety to make a nice box was a challenge early on. Right now, on a packing shift, they can pack 1,500 boxes in a 2-hour shift. And hardly
So
realized going through.
So in less than 15 years, you went from 7 boxes a day
in a garage.
Oh, 7 boxes a week.
A week to 1,500 in a shift.
2-hour shift. Yeah.
2-hour shift. I'm thinking that's impressive for 8 hours.
No, that's a 2-hour shift.
David's like, keep up, young men. Keep up with us here.
The most we packed in one day was 6,700 boxes. That was in 2020 over COVID. We were packing boxes 3 shifts a day. It was around 6,700 boxes that we packed in one day in 2020.
So what exactly is in a box of food? Is there like a process, a typical packing list?
It's usually an assortment of what we have available. See, unlike a traditional warehouse, we don't place an order for a specific product. We get a phone call saying this product is available. Do you want it or don't you? And then we say yes or no. And there's so much food available. According to USDA website, 30 to 40% of all food produced in America is wasted. And if half of the global food waste would be recovered, it would end world hunger. If you think about world hunger, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's only a couple $100 billion a year issue, and half of the waste, food that's already being produced, it's already being processed, half of that waste would take care of world hunger. So the more we're looking at this issue, the more we're seeing it's not a production issue, it's a management issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can utilize what's already being produced and make that available to the people that need it, we can have a greater impact on society.
So can you talk a little bit about why this waste exists? Like, what's happening? You mentioned the warehouse that you get a lot of your produce from. And there was a picture of bananas there. Let's use bananas for example. They get, I don't know, 100 crates of bananas, and you're saying 40 or 50% of that is could be potentially wasted if not used by.
So if you think about it, we see the grocery stores as the main supplier of food. Behind the grocery stores, you have your distribution centers, your local distribution centers. Then you have your regional distribution centers that are a couple million square feet, and then you have your manufacturers. And every step of the way, there's food being wasted from the grower producer to the regional warehouses, to the local warehouses, to the grocery stores. Our primary focus is on the warehouses, the distribution centers, because they have a longer shelf life left than what the grocery store does. So there's multiple reasons something gets rejected. It can be overproduced and is simply just too much of that product in the pipeline. It can be a misshipped product. It can be getting too close to expiration date. It can be, when I say getting too close to expiration date, I'm talking about product that they were selling to retail yesterday. It's that point where retail stores no longer buy it, so they got to move it on. And if you think about a warehouse distributing, say, 100 semi-loads of fresh produce a day, and they have a semi-load of waste, that's a 1% waste. It's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. They want to make sure they have enough for their customers, but if they can't utilize a product, rather than sit on it till they have to send it to the landfill, they can actually donate it and get a tax write-off for the product. So they're not paying for the use of it; they can actually get a tax write-off for it.
Okay. Yeah, that was it was a question that I assumed the answer to. So these warehouses, food producers, anywhere in the chain behind the grocery store, they're donating all these items to you.
Yeah.
And then
another example would be a semi truck might show up at a distribution center, and this distribution center has quality standards they go by. For example, a load of frozen product, the reefer can't be more than 5 degrees below zero, or not warmer than that. So if it's 2 below zero, the load gets rejected, or 4 below. So we're off by 1 or 2 degrees. That's enough to trigger a rejection of the whole load. Another example we've had is where 2 skids at the back of a semi-truck were leaning against the side wall, and a semi-load of chicken was rejected for that. 19 skids of perfect product, fresh product, because 2 skids were leaning against the side wall. stuff like that most people have no idea that happens, but it does. And us being able to take that product, we can then utilize that. And the issue had been up to this point was for this truck driver to find a place where he can unload a semi-truckload of chicken. With Blessings of Hope, we can take that product in, we can make it available to the hundreds of organizations that then, utilize that for their local distribution.
And so your warehousing then goes across dry storage, refrigerated, and frozen storage, I guess.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And do you have trucking then too for this?
We do. Yeah, we have our own fleet of trucks. Right now we have 9 semi-tractors. We have about 30 trailers, and we have about 15 straight trucks. And
I see the trucks all over Lancaster.
Usually,
and so
deliveries, whatever needs to happen there.
Yeah. So walk us through what you're doing with your trucking. So are you going to pick things up, or are you using those trucks to go from your warehouse to all the various people you then support?
Both.
Okay.
We like to do a delivery and then do a pickup on the way back, but about 80% of what we get, we have to pick up at a warehouse. The other 20% or so is dropped at our docks. And by having a big key for a lot of these donors is they want to make a phone call and get rid of their problem. Just for example, on this past Friday, we were offered 21 skids of meat. Never frozen meat that had like a 10-day date until it was what they call their freeze by date. So if you don't use it by, I think it was August the 15th, you have to freeze it. The issue was we got the phone call at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon, just this past Friday, and it had to be picked up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 3 hours to pick up this load of meat, and it was a 2.5-hour drive. And there's no way if we would have had third-party logistics that we could have accommodated that donation, because finding a truck in 30 minutes is almost impossible. Because we had our own trucks and we had a driver available, or we were able to shift it around, we were able to utilize those 21 pallets of fresh meat that would have otherwise been. They told us if we don't get there by 4 o'clock, they're gonna pitch it.
Oh, that's crazy.
So to put this into context, so 21 pallets of meat, was this hamburger or chicken or
steaks, ground beef, hams, bacon.
Like $100,000 worth of meat.
We're talking a 2-pound pack with a $19 price tag on it. Yeah, prime product.
Yeah, and so do you recall what the weight? What just ballpark? What would the weight of that been?
I'm going to say it was probably 18, 20 tons.
Okay.
Tons, yeah.
So 36,000. So, because I want to put this into context.
Yeah.
Let's set aside the price.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're not about, you don't communicate to your volunteers or your food banks or to the end user who gets your boxes of food. Hey, here's the money we saved you. You're about, we're putting food in your belly.
Yeah.
Right. So 36,000 pounds of meat.
Mm-hmm.
And there's about, on a conservative side, 4 ounces. Let's feed everybody a little more. Let's say it's 8 ounces. 72,000 people got a meal from that truckload.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
72,000 people had a protein meal from one instance.
Yep.
That's insane.
And just because we have our own trucks, we were able to respond to that load, where if we would not have had our own trucks, there's no way we could have accommodated that donation.
So David, so let's say, that truck comes in, you've got trucks coming in from other places, you're going to pick stuff up. What happens when that stuff arrives at your facility? We've seen pictures of people who don't look like employees. So obviously there's a huge volunteer effort. Can you walk us through not only handling it there at your facility, but then getting it to the people who need it, like who comes, all of that?
Yeah. So we have, here in Lancaster, we have over 100,000 square foot of warehouse space. And a lot of that is, freezer, cooler, dry space. We have a nice variety of all that. Just our big freezer alone, we can store, I think it's 250 pallets of frozen product in our big freezer alone. So basically what we did with this meat is initially right away we put it in the freezer because it was getting close to that freeze by date. Freeze the product, and then this goes to our selection center in Lancaster, right beside McCaskey. For anybody familiar with the area, we have a 29,000 square foot facility that's dedicated for what we call our minister selection center. This facility is open to any nonprofit that's serving the community. They can come in 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, select anything they see on display at whatever volume they can use. They will pay a handling fee that covers their operational costs to get that product to them. Mm-hmm. So they're not paying anything for the product. What they're paying for is the opportunity to come to one location, select food from 200 different donations at whatever volume they can use. And at this point, that handling fee is 27 cents a pound. That will be going up to 31 cents a pound here in September. But that process, our model allows us to continue growing. The only thing we need to fundraise for is for food that we send to inner city missions, and that there's an unlimited amount of free food available. The question is, how fast can we build the infrastructure to bring that in? So at our selection center in Lancaster, it's like I said, 29,000 square foot. They'll come in, they'll get a shopping cart, whatever they see they can use, whatever volume they can use, and then they'll pay that handling fee. So it would either go through that, or it would go through what we call our Hands of Hope boxes, which is a pre-packed about 40-pound box of food that is ready to give out at an outreach. So churches, they'll order, say, 100 boxes of food to be delivered on a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. They don't need any facilities. They can distribute right off the back of our truck on their parking lot, distribute the food to 100 families, and our driver comes back. So those are two of our main programs. And then the outreaches that we do, where we just send a truckload of food into, say, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, New York City, some of the bigger cities around us. It's a way for us to manage our inventory. For example, 2 weeks ago, I walked into our cooler and there was 15 skids of blackberries. And we're talking that the small 8-ounce packets, whatever they are, they're like $4 or $5 a piece at Giant.
Yeah, we buy them all the time in our house.
Yep. Now, the only issue is they're ripe. You have about 2 or 3 days to do something with them. So those are not all going to move through our selection center. So we can freeze some of them, but we can also then outreach some of those, where we just send a skid of different products, send them to Philadelphia, bless hundreds of families with those, and they can utilize the product rather than see it being wasted.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you would do that.
Wow. So I'm going to make a little bit of a left turn here, because there's a theme that's come up in the last handful of shows where we see private individuals step in and fill a void. And I don't want to make this political, but I guess I'm going to make it political. So, and it's appropriate because you said that you had that, I think it was the opportunity for the 21 pallets of food, or no, there was a chicken order because 2 in the back hit the wall. I'm guessing that's a regulation of some sort somewhere along the line. Is that correct?
Either regulation or just a
rule,
policy that these distribution centers have. If the skid's not setting up right, they just don't take it. It's where insurance companies come in, insurance pays for it, driver got to get rid of it, and you move on with life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is, at times in our society, there's a lot of different rules that seem to be around, and not that we want to break rules, and not that we want to do unsafe things, but it really blew my mind early in the show where you said we don't have I forget how you phrased it. We don't have a food production problem. We have a management problem. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's more my point here. Like I'm thinking back of Marlene with Tech Centro, largely helping Latina people, Hispanic people get in the workforce support with English language learning, get them into the workforce. Like there's a private individuals come together to support a subset of the community, and their services are open to everybody, but they do have a specific focus. And they exist because there are some realities of society that are harder to work around if you just accepted the rules, right? And here you exist because you say, well, we know these rules in place, we know these policies in place, we know these things happen, but boy, it's a shame that there's so much waste. What can we do about it?
Yeah.
So where do you feel that inspiration came originally, like to kind of fill that void? I mean, what made you ask that big question of how do we scoop up this 30 to 40% of food waste and get it into people's bellies and bless them?
Right. At this point, we're not getting close to the 30 to 40% of food waste. We estimate at this point we're about a 0.0035% of what's being wasted is what we're recouping at this point.
Wow.
So we are.
I mean, that's staggering when you talk about like
barely scratching the tip of the iceberg or what's available.
My goodness.
Inspiration of where it got started. Aaron Fisher, one of my partners, grew up in a food insecure home, and somebody would bring them a box of food every week. His dad was in a wheelchair, and he just had a passion to do this. And through our transition early on, we were working together very closely with Aaron, and he started coming up with some of these crazy ideas, and we were like, "You're crazy! There's no way." He kept talking about these big warehouses and all the trucks, and he had the grand plan of how to do it. But an issue with Aaron is he doesn't like papers or computers. It's all about the people and the process. And I'm more the details guy. I like to be in the office. I like to take care of the details. And so it was just a great fit to work together. And early on, one of the biggest fights we had was trying to keep things fair. And I would try to do my share of the dirty work, and he would try to do his share of the dirty work. And we figured out, if we each do what we like to do, we complement each other. So
there you go.
That was a lot of the passion behind it. Without Aaron's driving passion early on, there's no way it would have gotten to where it is today. And but yeah, it's been a great team effort to work together with Aaron and just figure things out as we go.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic you and Aaron have. I made a gesture. It's very similar to Ben and I, right? I'm the idea guy. Ben's the detail guy. And So in your role, what is your specific role with Blessings of Hope?
CEO.
Okay. Yep.
I try to stay out of everybody's way so they can get their work done.
That's the first marker of a good CEO, right? Keep the vision and the direction going forward, and let the teams around you do the work. I mean, you shared in our pre-show you have about 100 employees or so.
I think we're a little over 90, somewhere between 90 and 100. I'm not sure. I can find out, but I'm not exactly sure where we're at right now. But that's up from 8 in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
So you obviously 90, 100 to 100 employees, all doing great things right here in Lancaster and beyond. And I know that includes your drivers and office staff and all of that. But you have a huge army of volunteers, and I think a lot of the pictures that we've been seeing, Chris, scroll through on the screen here, shows a lot of the volunteers. Can you talk about the not only the amount of volunteers, but what they're doing, how someone can volunteer, all of that?
Yeah. Right now, we see over 1,400 volunteer positions a week filled. The last year, we had 160,000 volunteer hours recorded with almost 16,000 different people. There's over 60,000 different volunteer shifts, where people fill the shift. So it's just incredible to see the support of the community. There is there's a huge opportunity that we have to utilize this, the work of the community. Usually what they're doing is packing food, packing boxes, rebagging. For example, 50-pound bags of product down into a 1 pound or something like, family-friendly size. They're sorting fresh produce. There's lots of produce available where, say, 90% of it's good, 10% of it's bad. And our belief is that if the farmer can produce the crop, send it to market, we can at least sort it and utilize what we can, and then what's bad we send to a digester, methane digester. So we're also just getting into food processing, food dehydration specifically at our East Petersburg facility, where we can take fresh produce, we dry it, give it a shelf-stable life. According to our research, dehydrated product will retain over 90% of nutritional value, will shrink to about 20% of volume, and you can give it about a 5 to 10 year shelf life depending on product and how it's packaged. And then that can be utilized for international outreach. So we are in the process of building redeveloping the former Darren Camp's grocery outlet in E-Town, where we want to half of the facility want to set up for food processing, and the other half for a selection center like we have in Lancaster. And our goal there is to process a container load of dehydrated product a week. And to do that, we estimate we'll need to process between 12 and 15 semi-truckloads of fresh product to get our 1 container load of dehydrated product.
Wow.
And that's a pretty big project, but we're excited to see what will happen out of that. I mean, at this point, it's still in the process. We're just through our design phase of it. We just got our permits, so we're ready to get into construction. It's a pretty significant project. So if you got an extra, $10 million laying around that you want to do something with, you can send it our way.
I was just it was on my mind to ask about how people, if they want to volunteer, if they want to donate, if they have things to donate. We'll get there in a minute, but so this food dehydration, so like the blueberry example, where they were ripe or very much near ripe, would you be able to decide, well, half of that we could send right to the street right now, and the other half we could put through the dehydration preservation process? Is that an opportunity for you?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right now at our East Petersburg location, we're doing a lot of R&D on what works, how long does it take to dry different products, how much does it end up with. I have a blend here. This is a bag of dehydrated vegetables. It's tomatoes, carrots, peppers, and sweet potatoes, and they estimate this bag would feed 6 people 1 meal. It's the size of my hand. It's just a small bag of product.
Okay.
So
this is product that we've dehydrated at our East Petersburg facility, and we've done nutritional testing on that. Just sort of what blends to put together and some of that kind of stuff.
And so when the end user, when the person would go to cook that, I guess they would put that in a pot of water, boil it, and it comes up. And
I think 2 gallons of water, I think, is what they would add to that little bag of dried vegetables, and then that would fill a pot of soup. Or was it a gallon of water? Maybe, not exactly sure.
That's a huge opportunity for you there.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
The way we see it, that the food's available if we can figure out how to utilize it when it's right, because there is so much fresh produce available at the peak of its life that just ends up rotting because we don't have a process to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to bring it up again because I love how you said it. It's really sticking with me, is that, and I think this is an appropriate quote for your personal life, maybe your faith life, for the problems you have in life. You mentioned we don't have a food problem, we have a management problem, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have it. I really like how you said that. I don't know where I was going right there, but I like how you said we don't have a food problem, we have a management problem.
Yeah.
And I think if you take David's lesson and apply that to any problem you're having in life, and ask about, well, where does the real problem exist?
Yeah. Where's the opportunity that everybody else sees as a problem? If you can figure that out, where you can find the opportunity and actually go with that opportunity, you can create a solution where everybody else saw a problem.
David, I have a question. So you mentioned the local nonprofits. They're able to come to your location near McCaskey, I believe you said, in Lancaster City, and they can purchase at about 27 or 31 cents a pound. How about other organizations like churches, either in Lancaster County and I know beyond, because my father-in-law has driven multiple times to a Blessings of Hope facility, and he's an hour and a half away volunteering with his church. So, what do these churches come? What's that process look like? And if somebody's interested, how do they get that process started with you?
Well, they can call our number, the 717-824-1227, and ask to talk to Bill or somebody in Ministry Relations. And just basically, we have a one-page sign-up form. They can walk in the door, fill out that form. We just gather basic information, who they are, who the contact person is. They have to agree that they're not going to be selling the product, and then they have access to our facility at whatever. There's no restriction on how often they come. They don't have to take a certain volume to stay active. If they want to come once a year or once a day, if they want to take, we have organizations that are serving 5 men coming out of prison at a halfway house, to churches that are doing an outreach with a semi-truckload of food on their parking lot, once a month, and anything between. So, yeah, it's all sizes of organizations. Just for example, we have an organization that comes down from Massachusetts about once a month. Since they started getting food at Blessings of Hope, they're able to do about 5 to 6 times the food volume distribution on the same budget, including their costs of traveling down from Massachusetts, and just the opportunity of getting the food at Blessings of Hope instead of buying it at their local grocery store. They can do about 5 to 6 times the impact.
Wow.
I'm curious, is there anybody else nationally that you know of doing something similar to this? Like, are you learning from somebody else, or is this like you're blazing the trail with?
I'm not aware of any organization that has the selection center model. I know there's different organizations where they have an online list. This is available. We're going to send you this product, whatever. There's more organizations that I'm aware of that do that. I am not aware of any other nonprofit organization that has more the retail model that we do, where we have set up like a grocery store. People come in, they see what we have, they can physically touch, feel, smell the product, and then take whatever volume they can use.
And that's actually a good question too. So the other organizations, is their price still 27 cents a pound?
I am not sure what their price is. I know there's some organizations that don't charge anything, and then that do have a handling fee, attached that they pass on to the organizations.
Gotcha. Well, I meant like other organizations coming to you, Blessings of Hope. Is it anybody that comes that qualifies is 27 cents a pound?
Any nonprofit, they pay the 27 cents a pound handling fee. Yep.
And that's across all food types. So obviously meat.
Well, they're not buying food. They're not paying anything for the food. They're paying for the service. They're paying for the opportunity to select that at one location, and our operational costs to get the product to them.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, we had HVAC crews on the roof today, so we know that magic HVAC ferries don't just make it cold.
Yeah,
there's a cost. There's a cost, right?
We've not figured out yet how to roll into a Love's truck stop and tell them by faith we want to put fuel in this truck. They usually want a credit card.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. And so obviously people can go to blessingsofhope.com. If they want to contact you to donate food, please do. If they want to contact you to have you help support their ministry, please do. If you want to volunteer and help fill those boxes, please go blessingsofhope.com. David, I figured as we wrap up our time, I would get your view on this because your partner, Aaron, came from a food insecure home. I think a lot of folks who may need food, there's a level of embarrassment, maybe shame. There's some pride in there that may prevent them from reaching out to a food bank. What would you say to those folks about everybody along the way that you've known and where their heart is to support those people? What would you say to them to help them kind of, I don't want to get over it is not the right phrase, but to help them make that move to come to whomever it is where they can go to get your food?
Another thing, that a program I have not talked about is our volunteers. After a volunteer shift, they'll get a voucher that's good for one trip to our selection center, where they can also pay a handling fee to select food. And there's a large number of our volunteers would technically qualify for low-income food support, but this is a way they could give of their time and then still get the food support that they need. Also, the volunteers that don't need that voucher, they can give it to somebody else that can then utilize that voucher on their behalf. So
Okay.
That's one thing. Back to your question, I think we've all had times where, we were struggling in life. We weren't sure how to get through the next day. And, I know for myself, we can point back to a few specific instances where somebody stepping in a time of need with support was a pivotal moment in our past. And, if he would have just walked in and said, get over it, it would have been a different outcome. And, we can't get dependent on those moments, but we don't want to just be the next handout people depend on, but we can be there and help them in their time of need and hopefully point them to a better future.
Yeah. Well, and I love how you have the program where people can give their time to receive the benefit.
Yeah.
And that's a theme we talk about so often on here. We ask our watchers and our listeners, if you have talents, donate those talents to charities that you have a connection with. Maybe because maybe you don't have the dollars to donate, and then you have time that you can donate. So it comes down to that time, talent, and treasure conversation. And I love how you do that. You get by giving, and there's dignity in that. Even though you need it, even though you're not in the most secure place, there's dignity and goodness in giving back to the organization. That's just tremendous. I love hearing that. Love it. David, it's
been great.
Yeah, loved hearing everything about Blessings of Hope. We thought we'd take a little bit of time, have everybody get to know you a little bit better. You're the face, it seems, of Blessings of Hope. You got a big social media presence. So, and we're going to get this video out, as I shared in the pre-show. We'll get it to your media team. So maybe we're going to give them a little bit of fun here, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So what is a surprising talent that you have that others may not know about?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about that one yet.
So I saw in a couple of the pictures, it looked like you might have been singing with other members of the team there. Were you singing, or was it just?
No, I do enjoy singing.
Okay.
That might be one. Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. Running a gigantic nonprofit organization, I think that requires talent.
Yeah.
So, are you a sports fan, and do you follow a specific sports team?
I don't. I mean, my boys do. My boys love the Eagles, but they drugged me into a few games already. Where I watch it with them or whatever. But no, I don't really have time for that. If I'm not working or spending time with my family, I like to sleep. I also enjoy going to auctions. I don't know what it is about auctions, but I enjoy auctions.
Do you have a move or an expression for bidding? Is it one of these? Is it one of those? Is there
not necessarily? I think it's more just the atmosphere, the high energy atmosphere that I enjoy.
Yeah.
One thing I did not share was I have 12 children, so I do have a busy lifestyle at home as well. With the youngest being twins, they are just over a year old. So.
A year?
Just over a year old, yeah, twin boys.
Oh wow! Well, happy birthday to them! Congrats!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you've got a little football team there, just under the Lapp household there.
Yeah, pretty much.
No wonder you like to sleep when you're not working with the family.
All right, I'm curious to know your answer to this. Do you have a favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert?
Be careful. Fanny might hear this.
I don't like to eat as much as some people do.
Okay. All right.
I'm actually right now. I'm doing I eat 8 times a week.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm trying to lose some weight, so hopefully I'll
Good
get.
for you. That's
I
awesome.
did that last year for 6 months. I lost 35 pounds, but then I went back
Great.
eating and I gained most of it back again. So I tried again and be a little more mindful of it. Desserts. Trying to think of anything specific. I love ice cream. That would be one.
Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I like soft pretzels as well. That's not really a dessert,
Okay.
but I do like soft pretzels. So.
It's a special
It's a
treat.
little treat.
You know?
A little
Yeah.
treat.
I was thinking you might go the good old Lancaster County shoe fly pie, which
Shoe fly
is like
pie. I do like shoe fly pies as well. That's right.
That's good. That's good. All right.
All right, and the last one. So if you were to move and leave Lancaster County,
Which he did.
which you did, yep, what would be the thing you miss most about the area?
Probably the diversity of people.
Yeah.
There's so many different people groups with their own beliefs and opinions and missions, and somehow we all get along.
That's great. I love that answer.
Yep, I like that one.
Yeah, you can call Lancaster a bit of a melting pot, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
Yep.
David, we've had a lot of fun with you today. Really appreciate you, your talents, the dynamic you have there with Aaron and the rest of your team. Obviously, you're doing things the right way. You don't just grow a business to that length just because you get what comes in for free. You obviously give it for free, but you're doing something amazing. We appreciate you. We know the Lancaster County region and all the states around, even as far as Massachusetts and others.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully with your food processing, soon to be the world is going to know what Blessings of Hope does. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service to those that need it the most. And we just appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a great afternoon,
Yep.
David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a success story.
I'm floored. 40%.
Up to 40% food is wasted.
Just wasted.
Which I think is where David dropped his quote that I'll say again. It's, we don't have a food problem. We have a food management problem.
Right.
I think is more akin to what he actually said. And I think it's appropriate of most anything in your life. We don't have a bad child problem. We have a meeting that child's expectations and talents problem. Right. We don't have a, in our business, we don't have a sales problem. We have a problem with not having products customers want.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Not that we have that problem, but
in general.
Yeah. Just as a broad statement. Yep. And boy, what a way to look at things. And that, the opportunity is found where most think it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool business and not business, but a charity that supports
organization.
Supports our region. So they're kind of, I would imagine that at times Power Packs has gone to their side.
Sure.
I would imagine some of our other food pantries that we've had on work with Blessings of Hope.
Yeah. And numerous churches and similar organizations, missions, community missions.
Yep. Yeah. So just tremendous kudos and thank you and feeling of gratitude to David and his team. And they're making it happen. That food dehydrating thing's pretty cool. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there at the old Darren camps in E-Town.
Well, and I love that they've got multiple warehouses and facilities, and they're probably taking over buildings that have remained dormant for the last handful of years. I mean, it's been probably 6 or 7 years since Darren camps left that facility in Elizabethtown, and it's probably sat empty since then. So,
which good stewards of the money coming in, right? Because it would be real flashy and really nice to put on your reports annually. Look at this new building.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
On the hill.
Yeah.
Right. But instead we're going to where that is on that side of town, and we're going to reuse it, and we're going to be a part of that community and put some jobs into that community and
it's true
money back into that community. So it's really good. That was really neat. I like that one. That's a good one to come back as the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
So you're David Lapp and I'm Aaron Fisher.
So we've morphed from Batman and Robin to revealed our true identity.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, hey, if you want to be a guest on the show, you go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, and we get the whole process started. It is a whole process now, but it's a good process. And you'll meet Stephanie, who helps us book the show. You'll get involved with Chris, who's our amazing producer here, Chris from Cast Ahead. So this is my time for his regular show. Have you been doing this while I was away?
Yeah, I think I've given Chris a shout out or two. You know, he's
a good.
He's worthy of a mention.
Yeah, great asset to help us produce a great show. So you get to watch and listen to a great show. So you go to lancasterconnects.com if you want to be on the show, and go to the guest tab, fill that out. My sleep better tip for you is sleep routine. My goodness, have I violated that the last couple of weeks?
You've been in multiple different states.
3 different states in 2
Different
weeks
hotels.
and multiple nights. And I think I've slept in my own bed 4 nights in the last 18 days, I think is what I calculated.
At least 4+ plane rides.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a lot. And if I just would have, I broke all the rules. Like, I was on vacation. I said, sleep routine, you're on vacation too. And I broke all the rules, and I'm paying the price. So sleep routine could be what you eat or don't eat so many hours before you go to bed, the time you go to bed, the time you wake up. Do you drink caffeine or not? So I broke all the rules, and I tell you what all those rules are. You go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better. We'll mail you a copy of our Sleep Better book, not the podcast copy book, but a real copy right there. We'll mail you your own copy. You can develop your own sleep routine from the great tips we give you in that book, and you can improve your sleep. And I am committed back tonight to getting back to my routine.
Well, now you're what, the second night in a row that you can actually sleep in your bed, or third, or whatever it is.
It's only going to be the second night in a row,
right? Because you were at the campground, right?
Yeah. In 3
Yeah.
weeks. So there you go.
You're on a streak now.
Yes.
All right. So testimonial time for Gardener's Mattress and More. Gardener's Mattress and More produces this show, and we are within the 4 walls of the Gardener's Mattress and More retail mattress establishment on Plaza Boulevard. How about that? We get testimonials, handwritten testimonials in all the time. There were a number of testimonials in this past week. I thought this one was interesting from Patricia. No 2 customers are the same. I think we know that as consumers, we're all looking for different things and different reasons why we make purchases and whatnot. But, mattresses, everybody has a different bed type, bed frame, different situations and circumstances. Maybe they're moving and they want to make their...
I visited all the different mattress circumstances the last 2 weeks.
Right. I think you even had to fix a bed while you were away, right? So Patricia wrote, she was very pleased with our service. We also accommodated her need to hold off on installing the mattress until the work was completed in her house / room renovation. So this was a scenario where she made her investment in a new mattress, but needed us to hold it until she was ready. So I'm not sure the exact scenario. We sounded like we held it for a month or 2 or 3, and that's okay. We want people to make the purchase when they're able to make the purchase and when it feels right for them. But then if they need a special circumstance on the back end, we likely can make that happen. So we do have a warehouse facility where we can store products safely until people are ready to go. So just a way to accommodate our customers based on their need. So thank you, Patricia, and thanks for sharing your handwritten review with us.
Yes. And we do get online reviews too. We actually just crossed the 400 Google review threshold.
400 5-star
400
Google reviews.
Yeah, 400.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have them everywhere, and we always appreciate when our customers share their experience with others. So thank you to Patricia and everybody else that does the same. Without too much further ado, oh, there it is. Well, actually, we're at 401, and I actually have to do some investigation because, Google is going to Google sometimes, and we might have some that have been hidden and throttled.
What?
Yep. How dare they?
They caught us writing them.
Yeah. How dare they put baby in a corner, right?
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
So, I have to check that out. But I just had a friend who's got a plumbing business. He was very keen on his reviews. Not that we're not. But he was noticing some things and did some research, and he shared what he did. And he had 68 5-star reviews reinstated.
I know Yelp has done stuff like that
Yeah.
before, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've never seen
So,
Google do it.
we'll check it
That's
out.
Interesting.
Anyway,
We got some tickets to give away.
we do. It is that time. So LancasterConnects.com/contest. At the top of the show, Ben went over all the ways to get in. So at this point, you can still get in, but you're getting in after we do the drawing for the VIP experience, which means you'd have to do a whole lot of sharing, a whole lot of caring, a whole lot of shaking and moving to get in on the shindig on April 26th and get on stage in the VIP experience. But
it can be done.
It can be done. It's still the open contest. It's still a horse race. And so let's get to spinning the wheel. We're going to do Hometown Heroes first.
Yep.
So we've got 4 of these to give away. So pretty good odds for the people on the wheel.
Rand Hill, is that what that says? There we go.
Rand Hill. So we have 2 and 2.
Yeah,
right?
2 heroes and 2 veterans. Yep, 4 total.
Little rusty the last couple of weeks. Sorry, my bad.
Do you remember how to do this?
Yeah.
There we go. Let's go give it another spin. We should have some music in the background. I mean, is that a little too much to ask?
Well, I don't know. We got that copyright smackdown
that's
the
true.
other week.
Jennifer Spangler.
So congratulations to Rand Hill and Jennifer Spangler.
And to all of our people who have entered. These are all hometown heroes, and they are all veterans. So thank you so much for your service to our community and our country. Very much appreciate all of you. And go ahead, give it a spin, Chris.
Wow, look at that. We got a lot of people in the vet contest. That's great.
Yeah, that one kind of exploded on us.
That's great.
And of course, if you won in past weeks, you're not in this week's.
Right. But you can
Michelle
still
Weant.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Give that another spin there, Chris. This is the last ticket giveaway. Another set of tickets. Go ahead. Spin that wheel.
And this is why it pays to have a great production team, because Chris brought this in. I mean, he made this look all great. If you need somebody...
Melanie Deeroff. There we go.
If you need somebody great for your podcast show, Chris and his team are the people. So congratulations, Melody.
All of our winners we will reach out to this week. Those 4 we'll reach out to. Past winners, we've already reached out. We will get your name and information to Hollywood Casino, who will provide the tickets and get you all the details from there.
Yep. And Rand, Jennifer, congratulations on this week, winning for the hero side of the contest, and Michelle and Melody for the veteran side. Congratulations. I feel like it's over.
It's over.
We've had this whole run.
Well, we got one more week.
So we got the great big VIP week. So tune in next week for that. We'll be very excited to deliver that. And we have a great guest next week, as we're booked up through September.
Pretty much the end of September. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. So thank you for all of our guests to come and all of our guests that have been on. Thank you to Chris for producing a great show. Thank you to you for watching, and we'll see you next week till the next connection on Lancaster Connects.